Alright, Shalom. This is the brother Gamali Allah of GMS Atlanta. Alright, giving all praise to Yahawah BAHASHAM YAHAWASHI. Also double honor to the elders, the apostles that rule well. And also Shalom to all the Akim that are pushing out this truth with sincerity. Alright, I got a lesson for you brothers today. Lord willing, it's edifying. I'm going to get into the comparisons between America and ancient Rome. Alright, because ancient Rome was pretty much, it was highlighted in the Bible. Alright, it was mainly highlighted in the New Testament. Alright, Yahawashi, our Lord, he lived during the rule of ancient Rome. Okay, now there's a lot of comparisons between ancient Rome and America because, as we know, history repeats itself. All right, so this is an article that I'm about to bring out. And basically, I got a few articles and I got some precepts. I'm just gonna roll through it and skim through these articles. All right, and this article says, "Is America the new Rome? United States versus the Roman Empire." All right, let's scroll down a little bit. Despite the efforts of some American leaders to set a different course than that expected by the Roman Republic, an analysis of the two is inevitable. Alright, so global influence and dominance. These are the similarities between the two. Both societies were the preeminent entities in their worlds, including quote-unquote hard power, military might and economic power, and soft power, language, culture, commerce, technology, and ideas. Their dominant stature is taken for granted within their own societies and the world at large. Alright, so basically it has influence over the world. Both of them had influence over the world through their language, culture, alright, commerce, and technology. Alright, and also through their military power. Alright, military and economic power, because right now the dollar is still the regional currency. Alright, America still has, I mean, not so much anymore, but America has the top military, alright, or one of the top militaries, if you will. Alright, and also, you know, our culture is everywhere, alright. Everywhere you go across the world, alright, you got people speaking English, alright. You got you know, all these foreign countries, the dollar is accepted everywhere, and you know, our culture, you know, they look up to American culture. All right, now let's see, solipsism. Americans have long believed that they are the straw that stirs the drink with the qualities and abilities superior to other countries. Alright. In ancient days, all roads led to Rome, the center of the ancient Rome, the center of the ancient world, or so Roman citizens believed. Alright, so basically, you know, all roads led to Rome. Alright. So basically they had that what is it, Eurocentric? No, not Eurocentric. It's some kind of centric view. I think it's centric view. Alright, they had a centric view of the world. Meaning, you know, they look at themselves highly above all nations. Alright. Let's see, political corruptions. Like America today, politicians in the Roman Republic had difficulty differentiating between public and private responsibilities and public and private resources. As a consequence, let me put my phone on silent so I can. All right, now, like America today, politicians in the Roman Republic had difficulty differentiating between public and private responsibilities and public and private resources. As a consequence, public services declined while the pockets of the public officials and patrician sponsors grew large at the expense of common citizens. So basically you had that gap. You had that gap between wealthy and poor. It increased. All right. The collapse of the middle class, just like I said. The Roman middle class was crushed by cheap overseer slave labor, the rising income inequality due to technological change and the transfer of jobs to overseas labor threatens the middle class of America today. All right. Loss of political compromise. Just as Republicans and Democrats are focused on political gain rather than public good, the inability of the opposing political parties of the Roman Republic to work together led to imposition of Caesar as dictator and the end of the Republic. Alright, let's see. That's pretty much it on the article. Alright, now, it's the next article. Why Rome fell. Alright. As biblical scholar, God's word dictates that in the end times the Roman Empire would be reconstructed. With the EU, I believe Greece is the last to stand out. That wasn't what I was looking for. These are like people's opinions and stuff. Okay. Rome did not fall because of decay at all. There were a range of factors which led to it. That's the main point that I'm trying to get at. It was infrastructure, okay, but it was also many other things. All right, we're gonna get into those other things. Taxation. All right, many factors contributed to the fall of Rome, but the main idea is that Rome was overtaxed while the denarii was devalued over 200%. So just like the dollar, all right, is becoming devalued, their dollar, and ancient Rome was devalued. Okay. It was Caesar. Rome fell when Julius Caesar was killed and removed from power, and it began at the fall of the empire because after Caesar was killed, other people tried to take control but were not strong enough to handle power. Alright, Rome fell due to political causes. The government was corrupt, military causes, disloyalty, economic causes, high taxes, social causes, lost values. Alright, and that's key right there. Lost values, okay? Because America, alright, the values are at all-time low. Alright. You know, you got homosexuality at an all-time high. Alright, all kinds of just straight wickedness. Just, you know, wickedness is just real high in America right now. You know? Now, this the next article. Now, let's see. The Empire of Rome, the aqueducts, all right, because they had a real intricate water system, all right. These people enjoyed the many luxuries of Rome's public baths, fountains, and public toilets equipped with sinks, all right. The architects of Rome approached this problem by bringing in water from surrounding areas via aqueduct. All right. Pipes and canals were constructed underground to transport water from places outside of the city. And what does that remind you of? Sewers. All right, and dams. Okay. That's similar to that. All right, roads. Okay, now there's a point down here, a short note on concrete. The Romans invented concrete. Their invention was used diligently throughout their infrastructure because of its durability, which competes with that of modern-day concrete. All right. Their concrete was simply made of volcanic ash, chunks of rocks, and hydrate lime. All right. The classical Romans and their constant interest of the classical Romans and their constant interest of expansion were always looking for better ways to facilitate movement of important things, food, other traded goods, and soldiers. All right. Roads were quite clearly the easiest way to facilitate this movement. All right, now look at this. Well, hold on. In total, there were 3 basic kinds of Roman roads: dirt, gravel, and fully paved. All right, just like here. The paved roads were meant for the most movement. All right. This shows how well. This is what I wanted to show y'all. Let me see something if I can find it. That's lucky. I don't know where it went at. But basically it said the roads were marked with numbers. Let's see if I can search it real quick. Maybe it was another article, but it said the roads were marked with numbers. All right, so we got our highway system from Rome as well. All right. This is the next article. Many aspects of today's society have been affected by ancient Rome. All right, creation of law, development of democratic government practices, influence in language, literature, art, and infrastructure. Let's see. The Roman process of making laws also had deep influence on modern democratic political systems. All right. During the era of Roman Republic, lawmaking was bicameral activity. Legislation was first passed by the comitia, or the assembly of citizens. It was then approved by the representatives of the upper class, or the Senate, and issued in the name of the Senate and the people of Rome. Many countries, including the United States, have since then used the Republic in Rome as a model for their own governments, requiring that all laws go through legislative bodies. Alright. Roman influences in modern society can also be seen in infrastructure systems. Roman roads used 3 levels of substructure beneath paving stones. Alright, just like those ones that I said. Alright. They use numbered signposts every Roman mile. So that's where I was. Okay, Salakia. I was looking for it. That's what I was looking for. They use numbered signposts every Roman mile. So that's the highways. Okay, that's the early form of the highways, which indicated such things as distance to the next town, and which construction battalion had built the road. Alright. Okay, so that's it on that. Now, there was a key word that, and this was mainly what my lesson is geared toward. So we're going to get into the second half of my lesson. I'm about to go ahead and bring out a few precepts. Alright. But the key word that I'm going to get into is infrastructure. Okay? Now, let's see. Now we know that basically, Rome fell. Okay, Rome pretty much fell. Okay, gotta pull out a precept. Okay. This is Haggai 2:22. Alright. And I will overthrow the throne of kingdoms, and I will destroy the strength of the kingdoms of the heathen. Alright. So that's, the Most High is saying, he's getting ready to overthrow these kingdoms and lift up Israel. Alright, he's going to overthrow these kingdoms, and I will destroy the strength of the kingdoms of the heathen. Alright, so okay, the Roman Empire, that was a strong kingdom of the heathen. Alright, just like America. And I will overthrow the chariots and those that ride in them, and the horses and their riders shall come down, every one by the sword of his brother. Alright, so that's what the Lord is getting ready to do. Okay, and we're gonna get into this infrastructure. Okay, let's bring this out first. U.S. bridges crumbling, and the Highway Trust Fund is nearly broke. When it comes to improving its infrastructure, America seems to be on a bridge to nowhere. Alright, out of every 9 bridges in the United States, a grand total of 66,500 bridges altogether has been found to have one or more significant defects. Alright, for the 260 million drivers who put themselves at risk on these aging structures every day, that statistic may not come as shock, which it could be a lot worse. Alright, This past May, the I-5 bridge in Mount Vernon, Washington, buckled like a children's toy after a truck slammed into an overhead grinder. While no one was killed, 3 people were injured, and the repair cost was $15 million. Some of this infrastructure is more than 100 years old, but wasn't designed with more than a 50-year lifespan in mind. Alright, so there you go. Okay, a report card issued this month by the American Society of Civil Engineers that gave the country an overall D+. The federal government will need to spend $20 billion each year rather than $12 billion it's currently doling out just to keep the nation's bridges safe. In New York City alone, dozens of local bridges and overpasses have been deemed structurally deficient, including a Queens section of the Belt Parkway. I would say that our bridges are in worse shape than that. I think the American public needs to be made aware of the state of our problem. Alright, that's pretty much it on that article. Alright, this next one also gets into the infrastructure. Alright. Now this is thousands of U.S. bridges vulnerable to collapse. Thousands of bridges around the U.S. may be one freak accident or mistake away from collapse, even if the spans are deemed structurally sound. Alright. The crossings are kept standing by engineering design, not supported with brute strength or redundant protections like their more modern counterparts. Bridge regulators call the more risky spans fracture critical, meaning that if a single vital component of the bridge is compromised, it can crumble. Man, this place is on its way out, man. Let's see. Public officials have focused in recent years on the desperate need for money to repair thousands of bridges deemed structurally deficient, which typically means a major portion of the bridge is in poor condition or worse. Alright, there you go, man. There you go. That's it on that. These bridges ain't shit. Okay? They weren't made for all the cars that go on them every day. And just like, you know, the last article said, they weren't made to last more than 50 years. Alright, so they're all one accident or one beam away from collapsing. Okay. Now I saved the best part for last. This is just like a cool little how you say pretty much just like an informative, you know, statistic thing with pictures and shit. So bring that out. Oh well, I guess I'll bring up preset first. This is 2 Corinthians 4:18. Alright. While we look not at the things which are seen, but at the things which are not seen. For the things which are seen are temporal, but the things which are not seen are eternal. So, of course, that's not talking directly about infrastructure, but the key word that I'm getting at in that preset is temporal. Alright? All these things are temporal. Everything you see is temporal. Okay? The crumbling economy, you know, everything that you see. So that's why, you know, we got to focus on the coming kingdom. You got to stay in the spirit and you know, pray that the Most High takes us out of here quickly. All right, you know, because this place is finished. This place is just shit, man. It's old, crumbling. You drive on the road and just get pissed off at all the potholes. Okay. Um, and that just goes to show you, man, this Esau's kingdom. Esau's kingdom, which was once so great, alright, is falling. Okay? And it's beautiful. It's beautiful that we're able to witness this, okay? Very beautiful. And you know, Esau pretty much focuses on, you know, puts all his money into the military. Alright. And this is scripture about Esau, okay? Psalm 52:7. Lo, this is the man that made not God his strength, but trusted in the abundance of his riches, and strengthened himself in his wickedness. Alright? So he didn't make God his strength. He trusted in the abundance of his riches. Okay? He made all these, you know, big skyscraper buildings and these, you know, nice roads and bridges and cars. Alright? Which at one point in time, it was great, you know, but you didn't keep it up. Now everything is outdated. You know, I look on the road now today, and you know, you see all the cars. Most of the cars you see are from 2008 and older. Okay, you don't really see. I mean, I'm talking about the majority. I mean, yeah, you see some nice cars here and there, you know, but the majority of cars you see 2008 and older. A lot of them are just beat up, you know, just old, man. You know, majority of the cars, you know, at one point in time, everyone had a new car. All right, everyone had an up-to-date car, but here it is. You know, it's 2015, so that means everyone's car that every car that you see that people have is at least like 7 years old, or majority car that you see is at least 7 years old. All right. He strengthened himself in his wickedness. All right, and that's what he did. This devil. Alright, now let's get into this. America's greatest generation built the world's greatest infrastructure network. Alright, building roads. 1950s, and it's like a timeline too. Eisenhower Interstate Highway System, over 47,000 miles of interstates. Today, close to 4 million miles of total roads, enough to circle the Earth 160 times. Rails, 1860s, first intercontinental railroads constructed. Today, 50,000 miles of mail line track, the busiest and largest rail system in the world. Bridges, 1950, Louisiana's Lake Pontchartrain Bridge, 24 miles, is the longest completed bridge in America. Today, 607,000 bridges. Alright, let's see. Over time, the U.S. failed to adapt. Alright, and this is by 2010, America wasn't even in the top 10 for infrastructure competitiveness. Look at that. Number 1, Hong Kong. Number 2, Germany. Number 3, United Arab Emirates. Alright, and the United States is number 15. Look at that, man. Look at that. Personal and national costs are high. Personally, even with higher household earnings, we spend more money on transportation than any other developed nation. All right, we spend 17.6% of our household earnings on transportation. All right, that's roughly 8,000, roughly 9,000 yearly per family on transportation. It's probably more than that now, especially with gas. All right. Now look at this. Freight bottlenecks and congestion costs about 200 billion or 1.6 of the US GDP in losses each year. Alright, let's see. We're not doing enough to remedy the situation. Percent GDP spent on maintenance of infrastructure. Australia, number 1, is 2.4. Alright, US, and you see all these percentages of, their GDP that they're spending, their overall spending, and the United States is putting 0.6. So that just goes to show you that this place is just like Rome, because Rome stopped taking care of its roads. Alright, and you see this right here, this cracked up, fucked up road. That's what these roads look like today when I drive on the highway. Alright, even though every cent of our GDP relies on infrastructure, which, yeah, we make all our money off infrastructure. Alright, rails, 15,000 miles of high-speed rails worldwide. Now this part I found really interesting. Look at this. High speed versus old fashioned. Alright, now look. New York to Chicago, 711 miles at 42 miles an hour, 17 hours. Now look how slow our trains are. Beijing to Shanghai, 819 miles at 168 miles per hour, 5 hours. So look how slow our railroads are. That's ridiculous. Look how slow that is. 17 hours. And our railroads go 42 miles per hour. And China's railroads are going 168. That's four times the speed as our railroads. Let's see, highways. 131,000 miles of roads have been built from 1988 to today, without a plan to take care of existing roads. So basically, they build new roads and they don't take care of the existing ones. All right, a fourth of U.S. bridges are functionally obsolete or structurally deficient, including 77% of Washington, D.C.'s bridges. Ports. The U.S. has fallen to 22nd for quality of port infrastructure. Alright. Let's see. And a quick comment on that, when you have advances in technology, alright, there could be a certain way that the boat loads on the dock, alright, and these other countries, they have an advanced docking system. All right, but whenever they unload in America, they can't use that. You see what I'm saying? Because ours is outdated. You see what I'm saying? You see, these other countries, they're more up to date. So you know, they have different how do you say they have upgraded, you know, techniques. All right, airports. The U.S. is still using the same ground-based radar developed in the 1950s. A third of all U.S. flights pass through New York, magnifying delays at its 3 main airports. Without a plan, it's only going to get worse. All right. By 2020, port volume will double. By 2030, car passenger miles will increase 80%. By 2035, train freight will increase 88%. All right, so which we don't look that far ahead, but that's just where these devils project it'll go. All right, so you know, this place is on its way out. As you can see, it's real behind. All right, America's not taking care of it home. All right, so with that, I'm gonna say shalom. I hope you brothers were edified, and let's get the fuck up out of here. Shalom.